All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the virtual Spring 2021 Study Abroad Fair. My name is Scott Pearson. I'm the Director of the Office of International Education, and I have two amazing colleagues, the faculty leaders for our upcoming program, the Faculty-Led Experience, Culture and Ethics and Law in Kenya. I'd like to say hello to Scott Weber and to Brian Owenga. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. To kick off the presentation today, I'm just going to share my screen and play you a quick video. And then what we'll end up doing after that is we'll have an open Q&A where the students that have joined us can ask the faculty leaders questions. And of course, by the end of it, I'm sure we're all going to be ready to sign up and pack our suitcases. So bear with me here.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind, if you could mute your mics just because the sound's going to come through with the faculty in 3 here. All right.
Owenga.
I'm Scott Weber. We are here to talk to you about a faculty-led program in Kenya and northern Tanzania. This program is something we're excited to lead, and it's called Culture and Ethics and Law. It takes place over the summer of 2022. We're going to be abroad from May 16th to June 4th, and the class ends June 30th. It is a 6-credit based course in either business law or both business law and management ethics. Management ethics, which is what I'll teach, will focus on the ethical issues that organizations and countries and individual decision makers face in developing policies. Brian, what will business law talk about?
Well, thank you, Scott. I'll be your instructor in Business Law 1, which is a fun course helping you to proactively plan for your legal issues in terms of contract law, law of agency, doing business, and all that it pertains to contract and the Constitution in the realm of the jurisprudence in law. Over these 2.5 weeks, you will get to experience the beauty in the nature as well through seeing Lake Victoria, Mount Kilimanjaro, Nakuru National Park, and many other sites. You will also get a glimpse of the different African cultures, values, and ethics within each city you will visit, along with visiting cultural sites, multiple businesses, and college campuses as well. This program would hopefully allow you to not only reflect on the new ethical practices that you'll get to witness and learn about, but also to reflect on yourself as well.
And when I think about this program, the Study Abroad, and the unique opportunities and benefits this presents to students, this is an opportunity for them to take a lens and learn about the law from the perspective of another country, not only just the United States, and the ethical practices and approaches and moral approaches that other countries and other people may take. So it gives a real global sense to the program versus just a residential sense right in Menominee.
And you're right on, Scott. If you are interested in this program, please reach Scott or myself through the emails that you see on the screen or the Study Abroad office at studyabroad@uw-stout.edu and read the program's full description on the website as well that you see on the screen. There you can also see the cost estimate and deadlines for applying. We are excited for you to join us in the summer 2022. Karibu and asante.
All right. Thank you both so much. Let me just stop my screen share. Let's see what happened to my. There we are. All right. So now we're going to open it up for an opportunity for students to ask you both questions. If you don't mind, I'd like to kick it off. And my first question is what made you think about putting together this type of program? How did it originate? And why are you both excited about this offering?
Oh, Brian, you want me to start that off?
Of course, yes.
Yeah. I think it actually stems back, and I'll keep this brief. It actually stems back to a program that most of these students wouldn't have known existed, the Young African Leadership Initiative, that Stout was lucky enough to host multiple, about 50 sub-Saharan African fellows, and gave kind of birth to opportunities where Brian and I did a lot of work with colleges, or still do a lot of work with colleges and businesses in Africa, especially in Kenya and Tanzania. And that led us to having a governor from Kisumu County visit us last November, which, Scott, you were instrumental in that as well. And I believe that I said in that conference where we had about 600 students come, and I said, hey, we can't leave this stop here. You know, we got to do this. We have to follow up. We have to develop relationships and abroad with universities and different businesses. So this is kind of that natural progression that I had promised back in November of 2019. This opens the next door, and this cohort of students get the opportunity to go to Kenya are really kind of that first group of students that gets to embark on a really a long-lasting relationship between Stout and Kenya and Tanzania. Brian, what do you think?
Well, I couldn't say it any better, Scott. You really hit it on, and I love that. And again, I am original from Kenya personally, so if you ask me why, of course I'll have a million reasons. But let me give you maybe one or two reasons. One, studying abroad, actually away from home, is something that you can enjoy, be it in Scotland or in Kenya or wherever that is. 2015, I did take students to India for a similar program, and they learned a ton. There is something that you can only experience, things that you don't read and understand. I mean, you can read them, yes, but it's not the same as when you experience them. And what a way of experiencing another culture, like in the meet the faculty in 3 minutes, of course. I use the word asante and I use the word karibu. I could even give an assignment on that, and it makes you a week to know what that means. But the basic means, karibu means welcome, and asante means thank you. And so, having experienced Kenya as my native country and knowing the nature that it brings, the connectivity, it is like being a Commonwealth country like America, there is a lot that we share in common. And this program being unique in the sense that we don't have many programs like this in Africa. So we thought like putting this together with Scott, my friend who visited Kenya multiple times, we can reconnect with the YALI program, which was basically a Washington, D.C. kind of led program, which was very successful. And the Stout actually did host. It was one of the many universities that hosted this program. And so we have so many people who speak about Stout, out there in Africa. We need to go and meet them right where they are at. We can also meet some students, who are in colleges like you, and you can benchmark, and you can borrow a leaf from how things go in a developing country, from a developed country. So this is a unique program that gives you both the knowledge, the experience, and even a safari, which people pay tons of money to experience. But because it's an educational tour, you get at a very affordable price. And I'm excited that this is going to happen, hopefully next year.
Excellent, excellent. I'd like to open it up. I know we have quite a few students that have been joining the session. Please, if there's any questions for either Brian or for Scott, now's a great opportunity. You can simply turn on your mic, or you can enter into the chat and I can moderate for you if you prefer.
I have a question. Are we gonna know if this is happening soon, or when will we know if it is gonna happen?
Well, that's for Scott.
Sure, I'll take that. So
Yeah.
what we're doing right now is we're opening up the application cycle, and we're taking student applications. It's going to be for a long period because this is well in advance. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it this summer, but we are planning on doing it the following summer. So it gives us a lot of time to really get together enough applicants to make the program a success. If you do have interest, I would recommend going through the motions and applying as soon as possible, because if we have a set number well in advance, like Brian mentioned earlier, if we have a number by this December, we can actually even move forward on securing some flight arrangements, and it'll help us in the long run to keep our costs down even more if we can plan so far in advance. So again, if you have interest, do so by signing up. If the program for any reason needs to be postponed or canceled, there would be, application fees would be refunded. That's been the trend the last year during the pandemic, but we do not foresee that happening. We think that by this fall, 2021, we'll be back in business in terms of sending students overseas, and certainly by the following summer, the world will be yours. So thanks for the question. Great question. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions specifically about this program? Let's see, there's one that came through the chat. Okay, I'm planning on doing this as one of my last programs before graduating, and I've always wanted to go to Kenya to see my historical roots. Excellent. Perhaps, Brian, you'd like to talk a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, you know that Kenya is the crown of humanity, Scott. So everybody got to go there and see the historical roots there, okay? Yes, thank you so much for that interest. I got two students too sometime in the spring last year, and one of them was very specific that he has always wanted to go to Africa to experience that historical perspective. But again, he graduated now, too bad for him. So yes, that is very, very important. So yes, well, there is a lot that you can experience, as you mentioned, and being your last program, I think that will be a very good way of ending your study in college. So it will be like a celebration, some kind of thing. And so we'll make sure that you have that great finish off. Thank you.
And Brian, one follow-up question on that, because we historically have allowed students that have graduated to take part in study abroad programming. Is that something that you and Scott are planning on making available if students have already graduated and want to take part?
Yeah, and Brian, I can field that one quick.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, we are doing
Great.
that. We want to keep this wide open. I think it's a great experience. After 2 years of leading YALI and working with multiple universities and businesses and making some great connections, I think it would be robbing folks of this opportunity. And I would make for that first question, Brian and I have a little bit of a joke. Brian, you remember this? The very first time I was in Kenya was about 6 years ago now. Time flies, and I had introduced Brian to at least 15 different people. And Brian said, "I can't believe you come from Wisconsin and you're introducing me to my own countrymen." And so I think that makes Brian and I we have a very good relationship together.
Yeah.
And work have very good synergy, I think, together. And I think that's going to be a very valuable part to this trip for the students.
Excellent.
So you had to steal the show, Scott, with that, I know, but that's fine.
I know.
I felt like I'm a guest in my own native country, but yes, and again, that shows how the world is really getting interconnected. And one more reason, because the world has become basically a global village, and therefore studying in a different location from where you're used to is a great addition, even into your career life. Thank you.
Excellent. Great question, Harry. One of the things I like to let students know is that when we plan these faculty-led programs, if they have never been outside the country before, if they're not really familiar with international travel, it's the perfect opportunity because of all the thorough planning that our office and that you do to make it happen. You coordinate all the logistics from where you're going to be staying, the flight that you'll be traveling in on. So it's a very nice opportunity to engage on a, in a first try. And can you talk a little bit about that? What have you planned? I know in your faculty in 3 you talked a little bit about the environment, the safari, some of the sites that you'll see. But take us through some of the day-to-day. What can we expect on this program?
Go ahead, Brian. I'll let you start that one.
Well, if I start, I may not end, but in brief, well, we are going to have a wonderful arrival and will be received by a local agency, which will be taking care of us in terms of our food and the transportation and a bit of security and there. And I also must mention that, some lions love white meat, except that, Scott has got enough friendship with the lions. So you don't have to worry. And I'll be there to make sure everything is okay. So literally, we will be learning on the go, going from one city to another, studying as we go, getting these cues of locations and interfacing with other people as we go. From the business law perspective, we'll be able to visit courts in Kenya, see how they run. I will be able to meet some law students, some business law students that actually can interact with you a little bit here and there. We'll also be able to actually learn the culture, how the law is being positioned in Kenya, being a Commonwealth country, and of course, looking at their culture, the business, and the law and the constitution. Right now, Kenya is actually undergoing a constitutional moment. They are hoping to amend the constitution. It's actually being amended right now. So experiencing that amendment, remember, we have about 27 amendments in the American, constitution. How did that happen? You will get to experience that in a developing country like Kenya. And so it's a totally different culture where you learn from culture, from locations, from meeting people. And the two faculty members, Scott and I, will be very much handy to making sure we deliver, lessons as we go. And of course, we'll have a pre-session and a post-session kind of assignments as well. Scott, over to you.
Yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't add a whole lot more to that. I think that's, my philosophy will be very similar to what Brian has talked about. And we'll have opportunities to meet some really good guests along the way, like the governor in Kisumu, and who was the same governor that was at Stout in November. And that's a great opportunity there. But one of my favorite things when I talk to students is to say, hey, in Mombasa, we're going to have dinner with Ezekiel Akemoah too. And I just love that man. And what makes that such a unique opportunity for all of you is he is a Nobel Peace Prize winner. Yes. And there are very great opportunities. Wonderful, wonderful man. Absolutely open to sharing his knowledge. Right. And you would all have dinner with him and have that chance to interact with him. And that is something you would never get on a normal trip to Kenya or Tanzania. It's a great, there's just so many hidden gems. I think Brian and I have talked about this several times, hidden gems on this trip that you'd get to experience. And I think for each of you, you'd find a reward in that. So the classes are much richer, I think, when you add this global learning perspective component to it.
Right. Again, I may want to throw one more thing in that there will be a lot of, like the safari, Masai Mara, you can Google search Masai Mara, M-A-A-S-A-I. Masai Mara is the national park which we kind of themed like the 8th world wonder. This is something that most tourists pay a ton of money to want to experience. We'll also be there. We will also be there. That's why I was joking about the lion. That was just on a light note, okay? And then we want to finish off with the white sands in Mombasa, where we cool off after a long kind of 2 weeks plus of traveling and learning. Then you get to meet that Professor Akemoah that my good friend has mentioned, as we also, enjoy the ocean, the Indian Ocean, the white sands for those who love swimming. This is something that you cannot wait to actually enjoy. So it's a great opportunity for you really to have something that you can really enjoy and come to love in your lifetime. Thank you.
And if you've never heard of Masai Mara, what he's talking about, you don't have to look too far, because many National Geographic specials, when they talk about migrations and stuff, you're going to be
and in some instances, literally where the National Geographic cameras are set when they film those migrations. That's what you'll see. And I guarantee you personally, I've done this 3 times. You're going to see, you won't be able to go to a zoo and look at the zoo the same way ever again. I can promise you that. And on the way, I think, Brian, too, one thing to not skip out on is the Great Rift Valley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Well, so that you know, when I came to America 2006, I had never visited Masai Mara. So it is that man you see on the screen, Scott, who made me visit, and I've loved it ever since. I have sneaked out and I've gone there twice without him. I didn't want to say this, but I've said it anyway. That's
Shame
fine.
on you.
Excellent. We have a few more minutes remaining in this session. Do we have any other questions from our students that are on with us? Perhaps Jenny or Brittany or Harry or let's see, who else do we have here?
I see a comment from Harry talking about his idea of doing international business. Yes, this would also springboard to this kind of, this is what we are talking about entrepreneurship. Really, it may open you, some opportunities for you. Who knows? Who knew I'd been introduced by a Scout with my own people in Kenya? Who knew this?
Well,
some
Brian,
of those people came to America to learn more about entrepreneurship. That's what they were here. So you going there again, connecting with those people would be a very good thing as well.
And for Harry too, if that was one of the questions, one thing that I would tell you that might interest you in a place we would stop, there are some incubation lab type environments that I think we're planning on stopping at one of those in Nairobi. And I think that you would find that to be, I think all of you would, but to find young entrepreneurs and whatnot in those types of labs. And I can tell you, I've been a number of incubation labs around the world, and actually the ones in Nairobi are actually better than the U.S. in many instances. So, a lot of times when people hear developing nation, they think, oh, there's going to be behind or something. That's not true. And you will find that out in many cases that is simply not a true statement.
Great. It sounds like there's going to be so many connections you've already made many of them, and then when students are there, they'll be able to leverage those and make a whole bunch of new ones as well. So a sea of endless opportunities here. Let's see. We have Harry that just made another comment. Let's see. Oh, he actually had a chance to enjoy a faculty-led program to Sweden in 2018.
Wow.
Would Kenya be better than the ones that he saw in Sweden? I don't know. You might be talking to a biased audience here.
Well, exactly. And again, we don't know what we experienced in Sweden. But one sure I can tell you, Sweden does not have the natural national park like Masai Mara and the White Sands, and of course, great opportunities to have 2 professors in the go with 2 kind of courses intertwined, and of course seeing from 2 different worlds in one shot. Thanks.
Yep.
I think both experiences are fantastic, but you can't go wrong with this experience. This is going to be really tremendous. A once in a lifetime opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions? Jenny, any questions or
the only other question I actually do have is applying for scholarships. So do you know if it's like easy to apply for a scholarship and get that approved?
Sure, and perhaps I can start with that one. There are a variety of different scholarships that exist. One of the things, actually, by being at this particular fair, we're offering a micro scholarship, and if you check out the Canvas environment, you can see more information about how to answer some questions and submit your results for that award, and that would be applied towards this program. So that's one way. Low-hanging fruit. You're already here in the space. It's worth checking into. But on our website, we have a listing of a variety of additional scholarships, some through the foundation office. What's fortunate is the time that this program runs, you can apply for the scholarship by the February deadline of next year and still have the opportunity to obtain any any foundation scholarship funds towards this experience because it happens in summer 2022. So I would recommend, Jenny, that you get in touch with our office, either Andrea or myself. We can talk you through the different opportunities that might exist when it comes to scholarship. Because this program is, you're eligible to take up to 6 credits. If you receive financial aid through the university, you could apply it towards this experience, which is also a fantastic opportunity. So yeah, really good question.
Okay, thank you. And did your email get put in the email that was sent out, or?
Yeah. So
Can I
yeah, no, good question. Yeah, if you want to write study abroad at UW-Stout.edu, that's going to be the easiest way to get in touch. And then either I or Andrea can follow up, and we could certainly schedule an appointment to talk specifically about scholarships. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? We're just about out of time. Maybe we could take one more. And we greatly appreciate, you all for joining us, as well as Brian and Scott for sharing some insight into this amazing opportunity.
Yes, I hope and we are ready for the wonderful Summer 22 study abroad in Kenya and Tanzania. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. Thanks for all for joining. And we'll be putting this video up and online for folks who couldn't go. If you have classmates that weren't able to make it, please encourage them to check out the Canvas space and see this recorded session. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Chloe.
Bye-bye.
Too. Thanks, Jenny, Brittany, Harry.